Y'all, this first story is about to be a bit messy. I lost a friend over this one, man. My best friend, too. So, y'all can imagine how this is about to go. What's going on, you guys, and welcome back to A Different Perspective. If you haven't already, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button for your boy. Y'all, we are here, 100,000 subscribers, and as promised, I will be telling you guys the stories of the times that I simped over women. Like I said, there's gonna be a 4 or 5 part series. I think I'm gonna drop a video a week until I get through all of these stories. But today I will be giving you guys the very first story, the very first time I've ever simped over a woman. Now, over the past couple of weeks, I have reflected in my head all of these stories, all the times I've simped, and just what happened. And I remember them all so vividly. So vividly. I should be ashamed of myself. But hell, I was young and dumb and didn't know what the heck I was doing, right? Y'all, this first story is about to be a bit messy. I lost a friend over this one, man. My best friend, too. So, y'all can imagine how this is about to go. So this is around high school, right? This is around the time when I was in high school. A buddy of mine started talking to this girl that just moved into my neighborhood. He lived in the apartments over from me, and we both lived right by the school. But my apartment was a little bit closer to the school. This girl had just moved into the neighborhood, and back then, me and my buddy, we used to skate like every single day. We were die-hard skateboarders, right? So we skated all the time, and then this girl, we would see her, she would like roll around on the skateboard here and there. So I would see this girl, and she kind of had this emo vibe to her, right? So I kind of just stayed away from her, you know what I'm saying? And I thought she was a little weird. One day I was hanging out with my homie, sitting on his porch, and this girl, the same girl, and one of her friends, her girlfriends, was walking by as we were sitting on the porch. He just kept walking back and forth, and they would be looking up to the porch and like whispering and saying little stuff to each other, like pointing at my friend. And I'm like, yo, what's up with this, bro? I'm like, you know this girl? He's like, nah, I don't know her. He's like, I think I just saw her at school, but he's like, I don't know her. I was like, yeah, man, she just moved right across the street from me, dog. He was like, yeah, man, I don't know her. I was like, bro, shit, I think she like you, dog. He was like, nah. I was like, nah. Bro, look, they keep walking past and looking up here staring at you, dog. I think she likes you. He was like, nah, whatever. I'm not trying to fool with her. Next thing I know, a week later, they're together. I'm like, bro, what the heck? I thought you wasn't trying to fool with her. He's like, man, she came up to me and she was talking to me in school, and you know, she's cute or whatever. So I was like, man, yo, something off about this girl, bro. I wouldn't fool with her, dog. I'm like, he was like, nah, I like her. He was like, you got to get to know her. I was like, bro, I don't want to get to know her. Lo and behold, man, he started having this girl hanging around us all the time. Now, I know how this story is sounding. Now, I'm about to get to how I started simping over this girl, right? This girl that I had no interest in the first place, that I didn't like at all. But I got to tell you how my buddy, who was in a relationship with her, how he was simping over her, right? So he would bring her around, and after a while, she just kind of wore on me a bit, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, you know what? Maybe I got her all wrong, man. You know, she actually seemed pretty cool. She was me back then. I was super shy. I was super quiet, not outgoing. I wasn't one to talk to people like that and stuff. But her, she was a lot different than me. She was very outgoing. She would talk to anybody, spark a conversation, and could keep that conversation going, no problem. And I was kind of intrigued by that. I'm not even gonna lie. But I wasn't even pressed for her. I wasn't pushing up on her or nothing. Like the whole time my boy was in a relationship with her, I didn't even think of her like that. I was just like, yo, this my boy, that's his girl, she's always around. And the fact that me and my boy skated all the time, he would bring her along too, because she wanted to learn how to skateboard and get better as well. An incident occurred though. One day we were skating at the tennis court of the high school that we went to, right? Something had happened to where my boy and his girl had got into an argument, but he didn't tell me about it. You know how guys can be. They don't want to talk about stuff sometimes. So we're at the tennis court skating, and the girl is wanting to learn how to do a trick, and I'm like showing her how to do the trick. And my boy, he was like, I'm not really feeling this right now. Y'all do y'all thing. I'm gonna go sit up here on the bench and just chill out and take a nap. So he leaves the tennis court, he goes up to the main sidewalk, and he just lays out on the bench and put his book bag on top of his face. And I'm like, yo, what's wrong with your boy? And she was like, he's mad about something. He's like, don't worry about it. She was like, show me how to do this ollie or whatever. So I'm teaching her how to do the trick. And then next thing I know, I see a group of kids coming from the high school. Most of them I knew, but there's one or two cats I didn't really know like that. This one Asian dude was walking with his girlfriend or whatever, but they were all walking in a group together. I'm not thinking much of it because I know most of these cats. They're walking down the sidewalk like they're going home because we live in the direction that they were going. And then they spot my boy laying out on the bench. Next thing I know, all the dudes just went up to him. Wah, just whamming on him. I was like, yo, what the freak? I yelled out to his girl. I was like, yo, I'm gonna call her Maria. I'm like, yo, Maria, let's go. They jumping on him. So she gets scared. She kind of freezes. And I run out of the tennis court. So I run after all of them, ready to go fight. And they all just scatter and went in different directions and stuff. And then I'm checking on my boy to make sure he's all right. And then I'm like looking at him and I'm angry. I'm upset with him at the same time. Look, y'all, now I know, I get it. I'm about to get to how the simping occurred. I gotta warm y'all up to this, right? I gotta give y'all some backstory, some context as to this whole ordeal, right? So I'm mad at him. I'm like, bro, why the heck you didn't defend yourself? Like, why you just sitting there letting them beat up on you? He's like, oh man, I was scared. I didn't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to get in trouble. I'm like, trouble? What if they would have seriously hurt you, dog? Forget trouble. We about to go after them. He was like, nah, I'm scared. I don't know. I'm like, bro, you a punk. I'm like, you know what? I'm about to find out what this was about. So I reached out to one of my homeboys that was in, mind you, these guys were gang members that we saw run up on my boy. So I reached out to another homeboy that stayed in my apartments too, that was a part of that gang. He was affiliated with them. He wasn't with them that day, which was interesting to me because he's always with them. And I hit him up. I was like, yo, like, what was that about, man? Like, why your boys gang up on my dude like that? And he act like he played dumb, like he didn't know what the heck was going on. Fast forward a few months later, he actually told me what the ordeal was. So turns out the girl that my boy was with, she had snitched on those guys for something they had did somewhere else. She saw them somewhere and snitched on them to the school for something that didn't happen at school. And they found out about it, and instead of beating up on her, they beat up on her boyfriend. See, fellas, that's why you got to be careful out here who you dealing with when it comes to some of these girls, because they can get you caught up in some mess, and instead of them getting attacked for it, you can be the target, you know? So just be careful out here with some of these females that you might be dealing with. So that whole ordeal ended up breaking them off, right? So they decided to go their separate ways. This was stuff that I didn't really find out about until way later. I was kind of conflicted because now I see her as a friend as well. Still wanted to be friends with my boy, but I'm seeing her as a friend as well. So I would still just talk to them, but just separately, you know? And it got to the point where the girl and I was talking and hanging out so much, we'd talk on the phone every single day, that my boy kind of saw it like, oh, dang, bro, like, you choosing my ex over me. So him and I kind of like had a little falling out. Then he ended up getting into another relationship couple of months later with another girl that had the exact same name as his ex-girlfriend. And then at that point, I thought he was being a little weird or whatever. But rewind back a little bit, because remember I told you he was simping over her for a minute. So this is what he used to do to simp over her. For one, obviously, anything she said he would do. There was one point where she actually had moved, and she left my apartments and she moved to another high school. She moved by Tucker High School, right? And I mean, she was right down the street, but she still kept going to the same school we were going to. And he would go to her house every single day. Mind you, she wasn't giving up the ass. Not once did he ever sleep with her. But he was sipping over her so hard. He would go to her house every single day. Now, the problem isn't him going to her house. The problem is how far she lived and his mode of transportation. He would walk. Y'all, usually they don't put two high schools very close together. He's basically walking from one high school to the next. And he was doing that every day for months. I'm like, bro, how long does it take you to go to her house every day? I can't remember. It was, each way was hours. I couldn't remember. I think the whole thing was 5 to 6 hours of walking both ways. So it was like 3 hours there, 3 hours back. I'm like, bro, You walking over there every day. He's like, I don't got no money. I can't get there a bus or a cab or nothing. I'm like, dog, you is tripping. I'm like, and you're not even getting the ass. It's not worth it, dog. It's not worth it. I'm like, you simping hard, bro. You simping. So, fast forward, they end up breaking up, right? And I'm still cool with both of them until I'm not so cool with him, right? You know, we're not in a bad place. We're just really not talking as much. So I'm talking to her all the time, and I'm actually catching some feelings for this girl. It's not mutual. She sees me as a beta male simp. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm always available to her, always available to talk on the phone, always available to respond to a text message. You know what I'm saying? Always available to hang out. So she's not looking at me as something that she would want to be with, right? We're talking, carrying on all the dang on time, and I'm thinking that she is feeling the same sort of way about me, right? I remember it was her birthday. Her birthday was coming up, and I wanted to get her a gift for her birthday, right? Harmless, I'm thinking, you know what? We're friends, cool, but I like her or whatever. So I went to the mall and I copped her a shirt at, you know, the little stores in the mall that be having like the gothic stuff. I can't remember what the name of the stores is. They all black chains, and you go to the back of the store, they might have some sex stuff back there or whatever. I can't remember the name of the store or whatever, but y'all know what I'm talking about. So she's emo, so I went in there and copped her something that I knew she would like. And I remember when I went up to the register to pay for it, this young girl there at the register, she was older than me though, young black girl or whatever. She was like, oh, you getting this for your girlfriend? I was like, yeah. In my mind, I wanted her to be my girlfriend. So I was like, yeah, I'm getting this for my girl. And she was like, oh man, she's so lucky. Like, my boyfriend never buys me anything. I was like, what? I was like, how's he your boyfriend? He don't buy you nothing. I like, he don't buy you nothing? She was like, he don't buy me nothing. Fast forward to today with what I know, and I'm like, it makes sense that this dude was able to keep this girl doing very little to nothing for her, because typically females want the opposite of what they say. They say they want a guy to do this, that, and the fourth, but when the guy doesn't do that, then that's when they really like him. So I was like, so I remember when I thought back on that, I was like, yo, that's crazy. Like, he got the girl, and I'm over here, I didn't get the girl. I didn't get the girl. So I got her that gift, took it to her, she liked it or whatever. I don't remember if I ever saw her wear the shirt. I remember she wore the hell out of a shirt that I gave her that was one of mine. It was like, there was things that she was doing to get me to like her and to fall in love with her, basically. But the feelings were never going to be mutual. I'm like, and I was blown away by it, because I'm like, she put so much time and effort every single day to get me to like her, to fall for her, and she didn't feel the same way. I was baffled by it, right? So it got to a point where I let it be known. I opened up to her, told her how I felt about her, and she pushed me away. And that hurt me. At that time, that hurt me so bad. I cried to her and everything. She was like, oh my God, are you crying? Oh, you're weak, blah, blah, blah. She was saying all type of stuff to me on the phone. And she pushed me away because I opened up to her. Turned out, her herself at that time was trying to figure out herself. She actually came to the realization, which surprised me, having so many boyfriends prior. And I knew several of her boyfriends prior to my friend that was with her. She actually came to the point where she realized that she wanted to be with women. So till this day, I believe she's actually married to a woman, which is cool and all, it's no big deal, but I was upset with her at that time for not telling me. I'm like, yo, I thought we were close. And why wasn't you telling me that you felt this way? But that whole ordeal just kind of made us go our separate ways, right? But I was still so infatuated with this girl that even weeks prior, I would call her like crying and be like, yo, can we still just have the friendship? Blase blah. And she was like, no. She's like, no. She's like, I know how you feel about me now, so I'll never be able to look at you the same again, because I know talking to you that you want more than the friendship, so it's best if we just end this now. I was so hurt. I was so hurt by that. I remember my poor little feelings. So trying to get some closure, right? Because that's what soft emotional people do, right? They try to get some closure. So what I did was I went to my ex-best friend's new girlfriend that has the same name as his ex-girlfriend. I went to her, that's crazy. I went to her to first see how my boy was doing, because him and I wasn't in communication no more. First to see how he was doing, and then to tell her about the experience that I had, dealing with his ex, just being friends with his ex. And to my surprise, her being a little bit older than the ex, she knew everything that I was going to say before I would say it, basically. So the stuff that I said that this girl was doing, as far as the games that she was playing, like the girl would cut me off, the new girlfriend would cut me off and explain to me what I was gonna say next and why the girl did what it was that she was doing. And that's when I first found out about game, like the games that girls play. I was so confused. I was young. I was like, she completely manipulated us. She broke us up as friends, me and my homeboy. Like, we're no longer friends because of the stuff that she did. And I'm like, why would somebody do that? She was like, yeah, girls play games like that. They love to go in and stir stuff up and mess stuff up. And yeah, I was like, what? Even like with me, I was like, I started to catch feelings for her. She was like, yeah, she had you fall in love with her, right? I was like, yeah. She was like, yeah, that was all a part of her master plan. She's like, I've done it before. She was like, you think what that little girl did was crazy? She was like, I'm a veteran. She's like, I got years on her. She was I was like, what is wrong with y'all? This is before I knew anything about the games that people play with each other. I was young, impressionable. I was thinking that they show them that they like them. They show them that they care for them, and they just try to make it work and enjoy each other's time together. I'm not thinking of purposely manipulating and playing games with somebody. That stuff never crossed my mind until I ran into that situation. After that, I was so closed off from women in my heart for the longest, because I'm like, what the hell? Why would someone have the audacity spend time being manipulative like that? The new girlfriend was like, yeah, she did the same thing to my boyfriend, she did the same thing to you, and she did the same thing to many other guys, two of which that I knew. She would get guys to fall in love with her, to do these things for her, to simp over her, and then she would break their heart as soon as they catch some really strong feelings. I was like, why? Why do that to someone? And why spend that much time and effort and energy? I was like, I would talk to this girl every single day for hours. Hours. Who does some mess like that? So this story obviously is just wild and crazy, and more than just me sipping over this girl, but it's also a learning experience for me finding out how manipulative women can be in the games that they can play. I'm telling y'all, I didn't even know that stuff was a thing. And you would have thought that after that experience, I would have learned better. Nope. Like I said, this is episode 1. This is part 1. I got some more stories to tell, but y'all know what time it is. Like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more. As always, you can follow your boy on the gram and Twitter at Artofkickz, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. See ya.